Today on the Euro Truck Podcast, RollerCoaster Tycoon has been delayed. World of Warcraft celebrates its 11th birthday with an inflatable Thunderfury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. And new Star Wars movies are coming every year? What? Hello and welcome to the Big Hat Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Sea Captain II First Mate.
And Freelance Gamer. Uh-oh, he may have become a pirate, Jim.
That's not
Actually,
good.
you know what? I'm gonna put the hat on now.
See, this is what I was wondering. I was like, you called the Big Hat Podcast. Are there actually big hats involved?
Depends.
I mean, I'm wearing a large trucker hat, but you obviously can't tell because A, I don't have any feet, and B, I don't have a webcam, so that doesn't help anything.
Right, you just have a large thing of ice cream
What?
That's correct.
that you are about to devour.
What? Oh, I guess I do? Question mark?
That's
No.
the picture. That is the picture that goes when you talk and you're
Oh!
Yes.
I forgot
Holy-
that picture. That picture's like 2 years old, man.
You haven't
Okay, I am
submitted a
so-
new picture, so
You should just go on my Facebook then and find one because I am so much more bearded now.
that's
And
a
I
lot of
was-
effort here.
It's been I mean, yeah. Can you imagine how long it took to grow the beard? a big amount of effort.
Probably a couple years.
This is a long,
A couple beard accidents in here,
it's a
here
long
in between
beard
them.
growing. There's only been a few beard incidents.
That's actually more than what I said.
Hmm.
I said a couple, which insinuated two. You went to a few, which is three.
A few is not three.
It's three or more.
No, a few is 2 or 3.
No, a
Yeah.
couple is two.
I beg to differ against you, sir. But this is not a language semantics podcast. This is a gaming podcast. We need to get on with our news. So, a game from everyone's childhood, at least it was part of my childhood, RollerCoaster Tycoon. Oh my goodness, I remember the first time I played that game, or not the first time, but like when I was playing it when I was when I was small, and I had my first death in the game because of a roller coaster accident. I think I like completely shut down my park, started a new one from scratch. I was like, I can't deal with it. My conscience was so distraught by the death of a virtual park goer, paying an increasingly high ticket price, and I couldn't handle the pressure.
That's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, and you know it's also quite unfortunate. They were going to make a new one called RollerCoaster Tycoon World, and it had a beta. And this is something I want to touch on is the nature of what the beta has become. But to wrap it up, the whole game has been delayed until 2016, pending different game-breaking bugs getting fixed and different holes getting patched in. And so, but I wanted to kind of segue this into a discussion on why, like, what the definition of the modern beta has become. And Freelance, I know you started before we hit the record button to make a really good point about what the beta really has become. And so if you just want to touch on that, that'd be excellent.
Yeah. So to me, that the modern day beta, all right, it shouldn't be but it is how most people use them, and how most companies end up using the data from it. It's basically become the trailer. I remember having a PlayStation 1 with a disc that had like 25 games on it, and you got to play it for like, all right, here, play 2 minutes of NFL Madden 97, which I think it was like Green Bay versus somebody, can't remember, Packers, something like that. It was like Packers versus, I don't remember.
Say, Green Bay is the Packers.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but anyway, so it was like you have 2 minutes go, and then like, oh, here's one map of SSX, tricky, or a game they're in. Here's 2 maps. Here's one map of a snowboarding game. Go. And it was like, okay, you got to play it, you got an idea for what the game was about, what it looked like, how it felt. That's what most players are using betas for nowadays. People play the League of Legends beta and will like, oh, let me just play the new champion that came out. Oh, this is how it feels to play that champion. But like, it's like, did you report anything? Like, did you feel the character was powerful, underpowerful, overpowered? Did you report that to the company? Did you say that, like, sometimes words will be said, and sometimes it will be used correctly, which I will give to, which we'll get to later, Star Wars Battlefront, is that supposedly they actually did balance their maps a little bit. When everybody went, dear God, stop, help, Hoth is hard. But that was a pretty glaring one. People don't report smaller issues, though, and smaller issues can sometimes become really big very quickly with a game. So it's kind of interesting to see that, like, for the most part, betas, unless there's a glaring issue, aren't betas. They're just a preview.
I think that's a really solid point. I look at the beta right now as the glorified hype train, because everybody asks, hey, did you play the beta? How many games can we think of right now? I mean, I can think of a couple that if you pre-order the game, like you actually already commit to paying money, you get exclusive access to the beta.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, basically we're making this paid for like trailer, like you said. That's I think it's almost ruining the concept of the game, and we're now there's almost this undue pressure on developers to where when they put out a product that is titled beta, everything has to be finished.
Right.
Which is the side of a wall. But
so
beta shouldn't be finished. It's by its very definition, it's unpolished.
It should be. That's an alpha, in my opinion. An alpha is your unpolished side with a lot of like clear-cut things that need to be completely finished. Your beta is as far as we know, things work, but we can't test it without a larger number, like a larger grouping of people trying it. That's when you release a beta. That's fine, and most companies seem to do that, but I feel like they do internal testing way beforehand because they're afraid if the beta is negative, then all of the game will be looked at negatively. And that's fair, because to me, I looked at Star Wars and was like, I didn't like the core gameplay of Battlefront. I didn't enjoy it. But I also thought, dear God, this map is terrible. They better fix this, or I wouldn't play this at all. And I'm probably still not going to play it. But now that they fixed it, I'm more considerate towards playing it. So they ended up doing it right there. And I feel that most games, I don't know. I don't blame the companies either, because a good example is League of Legends. They put out they have an open beta system that works constantly. So does World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has enough players and they see enough input. But most people I know who play the beta end up just playing it to play the new thing, not so much to test the new thing.
Andy, I'm sorry.
Oh God.
I accidentally hit the E button instead of the W, so my engine stopped in the middle of this twisty, windy road that we're on, and I just saw headlights barreling towards me, and I thought, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh dear, no, he's going to. I'm so sorry. How much damage did you take out of that?
I'm up to 26, but I had some damage prior, so.
Okay, you can just dock my pay for the repairs.
Will do.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think that companies I think some companies try to use betas correctly, some don't, and I feel like some people who go into betas don't go in with the mindset of, hey, I'm looking for things to make this game better.
Right. I've just rolled over. Oh, and I'm on my wheels, but I'm in the lane, so watch out.
Come on.
Man, this guy behind me is quite rude.
We've got Star Wars Battlefront. The release was this past Monday at midnight, so Tuesday technically. Tuesday, I never really know how to talk about that. But there's a copy here in my household. It just came out of the cellophane just the other day, so I have yet to really pick it up. But everything looks really good. I want to say just one anecdote on its actual installation. When the installation was going in on the household PS4. You get a mission that loads while the game is installing, because as we know, game installation takes forever, and if you really just want to jump in and actually like play part of the game, it throws you in as Darth Vader on Hoth in like one of the Hoth bunkers, and it just says kill enemies before everything loads, and just these waves of rebels come at you, and you're Darth Vader, and you are an invincible Darth Vader. And this is one of those things where I was just sitting there and I was just like, this might just be the greatest thing to ever have been part of this game. Because that's what I remember from playing Star Wars Battlefront back in the day, is being a Jedi or being like one of the dark side and just hack and slashing with a lightsaber. That to me was the most fun. I specifically bought Battlefront 2 on my PlayStation Vita just so that I could play the one map in the multiplayer mode that allows you to be all Jedi. And so that was a cool little anecdote that I want to throw out there. INGC, do you want to cover what's going on with we got a season pass coming up, so it's some new DLC coming down the pipeline. What do you got?
Yeah, the season pass, they finally released exactly what we can expect that we're going to see from it. It's going to be overall 4 expansions, 20 new pieces of weapons, vehicles, and star cards, 4 additional heroes and villains, which I question that one. Is it 4 heroes and 4 villains, or is it 2 heroes, 2 villains? I don't know. They didn't really say, so I'm curious about that. And there's 16 more multiplayer maps that are coming, as well as 4 new game modes. And the first DLC of that is expected to launch in early 2016. Since there's gonna be 4 of them, you can assume that each one will be roughly a quarter of each bit. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what all those things end up being.
Do we have a price yet on that season pass?
Yeah, the season pass is $50.
Okay, so basically, if you buy the game a second time.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
That's an expensive season pass too.
I've seen them. That's the trend. Honestly, I'm seeing more AAA titles that come out. Like that's gonna
Fallout 4's was $30.
Assassin's
and
Creed
that's if you bought it
Syndicate
full.
was 40 or 50 for the season pass.
That's insane.
Yes,
And it's
yes,
the same amount of content too. They're both
Yep.
offering the same amount of expansions.
Yep, Syndicate's doing the same thing where it's effectively doubling the amount of content, but it's doing so after you purchase the game a second time. So that's the new trend. Hopefully it won't be here to stay. Hopefully we'll just get full games, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really approve of the whole, hey, here, spend money on a game, but by the way, the game is not done technically. You'll get more game later, but you're going to have to pay again. I'm like, I bought the game, though. Why am I paying for it again?
Right.
I understand the idea of actual expansion packs and why they do it. It's so that, like, if you've been... So, like, older games did this correctly, and I feel like Battlefield 2 is a good example of it. After players had played it long enough, eventually you get bored of the maps. So what they do is they stagger the maps so that you get a longer time of enjoyment versus if those maps were already in your rotation, you would have played them too much already and dropped the game. But a lot of companies aren't doing that. They're making X amount of content and then cutting back, and that's not right. Like,
Right.
to make content after the fact is cool in my opinion. I don't like the cutback.
I recognize that, and my response to that is I like the idea of having expansion packs for games that are multiplayer. So things like Destiny, things like any MMO RPG, World of Warcraft, and the like. Guild Wars 2 has been doing this recently. If I've got a game where I'm constantly, being social, there's an exploration element to it that I can kind of understand. Okay, take Destiny for example, just because it's what I know the most out of games that have expansion packs. We're talking about an expansion story. We're talking about a game that is designed from its inception to be a long-term game, like about I want to say they're looking at the next 10 years. I think was what one of the developers has been saying. They're looking for this shooter to last a while. So I can see that, and at the same time, like it's just one of those things where I'm upset in the fact that I have to purchase the game twice. I think that for me is just the harshness.
Again, it depends on what they're doing. So like I agree with you on that. Like those are good examples of that. The WoW one is a good example. So like I don't like Destiny for the fact of, and this is my opinion, it feels like they released it too quickly. It feels like they didn't put enough content in the original game, and then it felt like they released that really quickly, and that bothers me. Versus at least like WoWs and other games, they, like I said, stagger it so there's enough content to keep you occupied, keep you entertained, and you feel like you got your money's worth, and then they throw additional content later once you've finished that content or had enough time to. I like that. I don't like the, hey, guess what? We put this game out. Yeah, 6 months later, here's part 1. This is and that's my problem with the Battlefront one is they're saying early 2016 and the game came out in November. Like,
Right.
if they released this in January, it's like, oh cool, I played the game for 2 months and we're already gonna get the parts, and it's gonna be like released every 2 months, and it's like, oh, so you gave me 2 months worth of content in this game, and then you're gonna keep giving me 2 months worth of content.
I can see that, and I'm hoping against hope that this turns out well. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah.
It is. I hope it's worth. I mean, we're talking about 16 new maps, 20 new pieces of weaponry. Everything points to it being worth, but
It's
we'll have to
EA.
That's my concern. I still see. I see new
legitimate concern.
I see new game modes, and I still look at it, and I'm like, the single player aspect of this would have been cool.
I got you. I get it. I do.
Indeed.
I am the optimist.
I'm hoping they do an all heroes map again, like you
please.
said.
I would love that.
I'm never optimistic when EA is in the running of things.
Yeah, they even corrupted DICE. R.I.P. DICE.
R.I.P. DICE. That's it. R.I.P. DICE. Well, to move away from R.I.P. DICE, this is
something a little bit cheerier, please.
Become a very sad podcast.
Oof.
Happy 11th birthday for World of Warcraft.
Yay!
And and they're going to celebrate with some in-game gifts as well as some metaphorical tomfoolery in game with the gifts.
They had a lot of silly things, and I love. This is the reason. It's like, this is why I love WoW. This is one of those moments that makes me want to go play WoW again. Like, I look at this and I'm like, this is so ridiculously silly, and I'll explain the number one reason why.
I actually,
and the reason I want it so bad.
I saw this, and it actually made me open WoW and play for a little bit.
Right? Because they do this silly stuff. They do it every year. They do it on every birthday, basically, and they do something interesting for you. Just being like, you pay monthly for this game. Welcome to the birthday. Here's something interesting every single time, and like, they've done some really cool stuff in the past that was ridiculous, like where there was like a zombie plague that caused players to be able to attack enemy players, or be able to attack anyone. And then, like, if you got hit, you got a disease. If you died with the disease, you became infected. The only people that could help you were, like, priests. So priests would have to remove curse from you, but then they made remove curse on a high cooldown. They always do this silly stuff that's like, I want to play you, but then there's the rest of the year.
Right, where you're like, I don't want to pay for this. I'm going to pay for 1 month.
This is a good game, but So the celebration package they put in. So they put up a couple things in. They have a celebration package which increases your experience and reputation gains by 11% for 1 hour. And I feel like you can get that multiple times, from what I understand. You can also get a celebration wand, 2 of them. One turns a player into a murloc. One turns one to a gnoll. So you get to play as the 2 like things you've probably killed the most in this game.
Yeah.
No, those are up there. Gnolls and Murlocs.
Stupid
You kill a lot of both of those. And then they brought back something from my past, which makes me very happy because he's dead now. They brought back a costume set for Edwin Von Cleef. Edwin Von Cleef was a part of what is known as VC for Von Cleef, which was actually Deadmines DM. But Deadmines also had Dire Maul, so when people would abbreviate dungeons, when they said DM, they meant Dire Maul, because it's the higher level one. So, like, a little random fact of the day there for WoW. I've been playing this game. I've been playing this game too long. Yeah, this gives an idea of, like, when I started. They put it in so you can look like him. He's now dead. He was killed by, I believe, his first mate. And so he's dead in the storyline, which is kind of cool. And they brought him in, and I think that's awesome. And then the reason I really want to go back to this game, they put in an inflatable Thunderfury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
Did someone say Thunderfury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker?
Which, hold on, here's the best thing. Using it grants you a feat of strength, and the text is, did someone say? And then, so like, when you have the buff, it says that. And you get the buff for an hour, you get to equip the item and run around with it, and the only thing is, like, you get 5 charges, and it's for 1 hour each. So, and I understand it because there's only so much we can take. Another interesting thing, which I'm glad they added because this is something I was concerned about, is the buff lasts through death. So if you die while you have it, you still have it for the hour. So you can return to your body and still have it. So if someone kills you and you have, because they're like, oh, look at this guy, because you can use it from level 1. You could still you'll still have it when you go back to your body.
Such a waste using it at level 1. And that is available from now till the end of the month, so make sure you log into WoW if you are a WoW member, so you get this stuff.
And speaking of things that cause me to nerd out, new Star Wars movies. We've been told by Lucasfilm, and not we specifically, although Lucasfilm, if you're listening, Disney, if you wanna talk to people here, I mean, we're right here. We'll be here for a while.
I mean, we already kind of talked to them. They just don't listen.
This is true. We talk at them, but they cease to talk back.
This is true. They don't.
We are destined, though, for new Star Wars movies. You know, pending any form of zombie apocalypse, we're gonna get a new Star Wars film every year for the next 6 years.
At least.
At least. I mean, we're gonna see what this will turn into, but dear goodness, this is a whole new series of Star Wars films, which the inner nerd in me just explodes with giddiness and joy at the sound of something like this. And then my inner critic says, are we oversaturating? And this is the question I want to bring up to the peanut gallery. Are we oversaturating the market with Star Wars films, because isn't that why we love small quantities of things? There are only so many Star Wars films, and yeah, we have an expanded universe with books and TV shows and video game lore, which may or may not be completely ridiculous, but looking at you, Force Unleashed. But I wonder, like, and this is what I'm posing, like, is this too much film? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think it can be. It depends on how. It really, at the end of the day, it depends on how good it is. There's totally a way where I'm gonna, like, if the movies are all let's say the movies are average. First movie's average, I will be ecstatic. I'm in that camp. This movie could just be average, and I'll be like, okay, we might get somewhere. And if the next one's average, and the next one's average, and the next one's average, I'm gonna stop caring. But if they can somehow, and I kind of hope this happens in a terrible way, I hope the first movie is just below average, and the next movie's average, the next movie's just above average, and then we just slowly roll that, because then I'll be ecstatic throughout the whole thing.
Right, you need
you want them to set a
you need a carrot, basically.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Of almost good enough, just to get people to keep watching all the way through. And they said that this is what Disney said they're going to do. They're going to keep making these movies as long as people are buying them.
Right.
Ooh, that's scary. That's scary, though.
So there's a potential that this is why I said at least there's already 6 movies that are planned to come out over the next 6 years. And that just will just go and tell the future of whether we're going to see new Star Wars movies forever.
I'm wondering then also, like, does this mean we're going to have some sort of cultural plateau? Because, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, like, Destiny is in it for the long haul. Star Wars is now in it for the long haul. Are we going to, like, was the Fallout universe correct? Just shifted back 50 years? Are we going to get caught in a cultural stasis for the next 50 years? I don't know. Comment down below if you think that I'm absolutely crazy, because I think I am, but that's okay.
Indeed. I do believe this is time to end then. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Big Hat Podcast. Woo. And if you've got a favorite big hat, comment down below with it, and maybe
we also accept tiny hats. If you have a tiny hat, we don't hate. No hate.
That's true.
Hey,
very true.
Hey, INGC, you wanna plug our Instagram?
Normal hats are weird. Tiny or big,
yeah, if you want to see 15 seconds of every one of our videos from the last several weeks, you go to our Instagram, which is instagram.com/ghostincorporated, and I kind of post them in batches because there is no easy way to post things to Instagram, unfortunately.
True.
That's rather unfortunate. Instagram developers, if you're listening,
would love a web app.
Yeah, content creators would love a web app.
That's something where you can contact us there. You can tag us. I mean, if you have a picture of a tiny hat or a big hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can tag us, and maybe we'll show it on our podcast.
That'd be kind of cool.
But if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and also go over to Instagram, like us over there. Go follow us on Twitter. Go like us on Facebook. All those places that, we are everywhere. You got a subreddit. You can like us there too.
Buy our book.
Upvote us.
Buy our T-shirt.
We don't have a
Read
T-shirt.
our book nightly.
Do you want us to have a T-shirt? Comment down below if you want us to have a T-shirt. We'll consider it. Maybe we'll use your design. Never know.
Maybe.
But Ghost Incorporated the lunchbox. Ghost Incorporated the doll.
That's
Ghost
it.
Incorporated
That's
the flamethrower.
merchandising. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.